Like, so I hit him up like, hey, are you still trying to do the Breakfast Club interview this week? And he was like, yeah, I'm trying to have you on with the mayor. And I was like, the mayor who? So he says, Eric Adams. And I was like, ain't no fucking way Eric Adams. And I was like, absolutely no way Eric Adams is agreeing to sit down with me. And he said, I know, so we're not going to tell him.
Oh, no.
Ooh, wait. No.
Listen.
Listen.
Wait.
I hate you for that.
Let me fix it.
Hello, and welcome back to Let Me Fix It, the podcast that says...
Our geography may be bad, but we make up for it with all this class.
The shade. Ooh, the shade. This week's tagline comes from Lenny, who says, they absolutely adore the podcast. Cheers from Antwerp, Belgium. Class, remember, you too can have your voice heard on the pod by sending us a tagline as a voice note to letmefixitpod@gmail.com. Now, let's get to introducing ourselves because our guest is amazing. I'm Delon Grant. I'm an actor, a writer, photographer, and an educator.
And I'm Francesca Ramsey. I'm a writer, producer, social media strategist, and class. We are so excited to welcome a very special guest this week. She is a lawyer, a political commentator, a writer, and Webby-nominated YouTuber with 7 active channels under her belt. And while she calls herself a professional loudmouth, she is easily one of the most thoughtful and most intelligent creators to ever hit the scene. Please help us welcome Olayemi Olurin to the podcast. Yay!
Oh, thank you for that sweet intro, sis. That's nice.
Oh my God. We are so excited. When we said that we wanted to have guests on the pod, your name came up a million times over. And I was like, yo, I'm already in her text message asking her.
And of course, sis, you know, anything you ask for.
Oh my gosh. Well, what I love most about you and your content is it's like this perfect blend of news and pop culture and diverse perspectives, but most importantly, factual research, because you are one of the rare creators that actually knows your shit. Class, if you don't know, my good sis studied political science, African-American studies, law, justice, and culture before going to law school and working as a lawyer at the New York Legal Aid Society. So I would just love to hear more about your time working as a public defender and how, if in any way, that's informed the content that you make.
Oh, you know, when you read my bio to me like that, I was like, oh, wow, like, that sounds so impressive. That. So I always knew I was going to be a lawyer from I was a little girl. I came to America because I knew I wanted to be a lawyer here. But I decided on public defense in undergrad. Like, originally I thought I was gonna, in undergrad, I thought I was gonna do like divorce law. Cause I was like, ooh, you know, drama be in people's business. That'll keep me, you know, sustained for life. And then basically it's just what I was studying and what I was doing. By my senior year, I remember I was writing my thesis, Colored Bodies Matter, the relationship between our bodies and power. And at the same time, the Mike Brown protests were happening in Ferguson. And I remember just feeling like, and watching everything happen, feeling like, we are so underrepresented in the legal system as far as lawyers go. Yeah, we are overrepresented in this criminal system that preys on us. And so it felt, from that moment forward, it just, for me, felt insufficient for me to go be a lawyer and not do something that directly spoke to that. So that was how I decided on public defense. And I think I learned a lot through public defense, and everything that I do is informed by that in my, and not just in being a public defender, but like all the principles that led me to be a public defender, like abolition, being anti-racist, wanting to dismantle the criminal system, all these different things. But it confirmed, when you're in school, I think you're studying like racism in the system and how systemic racism works in the United States in the criminal system. It's so easy to believe that this must be something that like needs a magnifying glass to be parsed out, right? Like this is some like hidden problem. That's why they're not doing something about it. And then the first time you walk in court, it's like, oh no, this is like on its face, just right there in your face. And I think that's something when you truly see how the system functions to prey on and criminalize everyday Black people, you see things differently. Like when I go to downtown Brooklyn, like my first thought is how many people you think are just here because the shops are here that I know are here because they have to be in and out of court. Now all these Black people that you're seeing. So that's what I think about. And that was the reason, that's how I got into making content or doing anything like that. I first rose to Twitter fame.
That evil place.
In 2020. Right, a place I no longer have an account.
May she rest.
Yes.
I can't be a part of Twitter. Twitter's the devil. But that is where I initially rose to like develop the platform, and it just happened organically because that's the summer of 2020, like around like at the beginning when the lockdowns were happening. We had just gotten bail reform maybe like a couple of months earlier. And at the top of the pandemic, Andrew Cuomo, who was our then governor, tried to use COVID to like roll back bail reforms. Like he pushed through a COVID like package in the dead of night and used it to roll back bail reform.
Wow.
And so me and other public defenders and all kinds of different people were like speaking out against it. And my job at the time had said to us, they had actually suggested to us like, oh, saying something online. And I was like, okay. But I literally had a Twitter that I'd only ever used to talk about love and hip hop, like live tweet love and hip hop. Like I was Papa Slime on my Twitter, nobody talking into the void, no little followers. But I was like, ain't nobody gonna listen to me talk about bail reform as Papa Slime, so I have to change this to my name. And that's all that happened is like I just started tweeting the things that I thought and saw and all the different like advocacy and different things that I was already doing. And then from there, I think I started like doing like media appearances, doing the same kind of advocacy. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to build my own platform where I could do the things and say the things and not just have to go on everybody's show in this place and this and the next thing to do all these different things. So a lot of especially my main work on Olurinatti and my like big magnum opuses are about trying to create these like solid bodies of work that speak to things like my like the one I put out, There Are No Monsters, Only People. I put it out like on New Year's Eve. Like that video in and of itself is, I consider it like a very like abolitionist, like
but it's like packaged,
without ever using the word. Like I can use the word anywhere, like at any point, because I've been like, you know, over time, and you make different contents and you use different kinds of mediums to try to teach people things, and you start to figure out stuff like, okay, I see y'all get triggered. I see y'all start arguing the minute you even hear, you know, an abolition, and you're not even clocked
That's
in.
a superpower of yours. You're so good at like talking about these big concepts. Because recently you did a really great video about Lena Dunham and like beauty politic and pretty privilege. But like you really came at it in a way that's like super accessible and empathetic, but like backed up with personal story and emotion and references. And it's so genius. And it's one of those things that we talk about a lot on the pod here, that we are so frustrated by like the rise of anti-intellectualism and how we need more smart thought leaders in the space. And so it's just so cool to see all that you've accomplished by being yourself, but also like bringing the receipts, right?
Oh, thank you, sis.
And one of the ways I was introduced to you, and I think a lot of the world was introduced to you, was when you dragged the next politician in New York who needed to be dragged, Eric Adams.
In the same breath that you want to sensationalize me, want to highlight and point out, an officer was killed the other day, which is a rare occurrence across the United States, but let alone in New York. New York police officers have killed at least 7 people this year, including a 19-year-old. An NYPD officer killed a 19-year-old in Queens yesterday.
I'm not going to dismiss the loss of the life of an innocent person that wears a uniform to protect us.
But you do, of the 31 people dead at Rikers and the 19-year-old killed yesterday.
I feel like I don't want to take you out of context, and I don't want people to all of a sudden criticize that you're being dismissive of a young man being shot
Mayor
and
Adams,
killed.
that's not going to work on me.
So you left the legal aid fund and you started your first YouTube channel in 2023. And you also had a viral video on John Oliver. You were on the Hill TV, and you clapped back at the host, and he said something flippant. You're like, no, wait. you dragged him back, and you just made, to Francesca's point, you just made a really cogent point with Eric Adams in particular, and his appearance on the Breakfast Club, and you were there as well, obviously. As a New Yorker, I don't live in New York anymore, but as a former New Yorker, it was just so great to have a voice that was so resourced, right? That was so prepared, that was so calm. Like you were so calm with him, and he was the one that was flustered. It was catharsis to have like the frustration around the politics, the frustration around his rhetoric, and you to just challenge it very calmly and ask him to answer the question that he couldn't answer. Can you talk to us about how that Breakfast Club appearance came about? What happened after? Because I know you got some clapback on the formerly known Twitter from the NYPD as well, right?
Yes. Okay. How did it come to be? Okay, so I have my first Breakfast Club interview, I want to say, was in 2021 or two. It's ridiculous to not know that now. Like that should.
But all of that
was
time feels like a million
right,
years
like,
ago.
I'm like, this one was in 2020, must be 4. So the other one must was in 2022. I don't know. I'm guessing. But that was when I first like how I came to know Charlamagne, and so we're mutuals, and we have a rapport. And they had Candace Owens on the show, and I thought
that's right.
I truly think that there are certain people that there's just no need to engage.
Talk about it.
I think Candace Owens is a white supremacist for hire. She's
Yes.
a grifter. Nothing that she does, says, or anything that she espouses is genuine, and it's white supremacy. And she's just a tool of white supremacy. And I think she doesn't need any help. She obviously is a person, like, it's not that you're platforming her. She's a person with a huge platform, but she does not need any help being legitimized in a space
By
that
other
regular
black people.
Talk about
not
it.
the kind of black people that be watching Candace Owens and are watching. Because what happens is, if you engage her, especially like, engage her on the things that you think are like black people will agree with, what you do is you normalize, you present her like, oh no, these things you heard about her. You're not engaging her for being a white supremacist puppet. You're trying to engage the things that you think are normal or that y'all might agree on, which is even worse, because now you're helping, package her to the masses as a normal person in XYZ. So I think that that's really, really harmful. I think that is completely unnecessary. If she were a politician, that'd be an entirely different story. That's calling the power XYZ, but she's not. You don't need to talk.
She's a podcaster.
Right.
I put out that perspective online. I put out a video on Instagram, on socials, talking about that. And Charlamagne called me what's up, Queen? Tell me what's the problem? Which I'll always respect, because if somebody I know and I have my number, or they could get in contact with me or whatever, goes to go make a video talking about me or whatever decision I made when you could have come talk to me, I'd be like, fuck you.
That's legit.
Yeah, I'd be like, what the fuck?
It's
So
hard for me to say
I always
anything
respect
complimentary about him, but I'll give him that.
Well, that's a whole nother podcast, but yes.
So he called me and was like, okay, let me have it, Queen. I'm listening. And I did. Ran on for 30 minutes like this, da 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 da. I feel this way and this way and the next thing. And we have a fundamental disagreement on who we think and how we think you should platform people and who you should engage in. Charlamagne thinks that you're supposed to talk to everybody. He takes great pride in I'm gonna talk to the left person, to the right person, to this person, to da 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 da. We have a difference of opinion there, but So he said, it was in that conversation. It was like, I want to have you on the Breakfast Club next week. Oh, are you good to do that? And I was like, yeah, of course. And then that week, so it's say it's Monday. We hadn't got it confirmed. I'm like, so I hit him up hey, are you still trying to do the Breakfast Club interview this week? And he was like, yeah, I'm trying to have you on with the mayor. I was like, the mayor of who? And he's like, I swear. So he says, Eric Adams. And I was like, ain't no fucking way Eric Adams. I was like, absolutely no way Eric Adams is agreeing to sit down with me. And he said, I know, so we're not going to tell him.
Oh, no. It wasn't a pop-up hit job. No.
Yeah, which is why when people, I'm like, I have to give credit to Charlamagne with how that interview came to be. There were so many people who wanted to criticize him, he wasn't he should have been defending, speaking up and around Eric Adams and that stuff for you. I completely disagree. I'm I'm a grown woman and an attorney, and I didn't need any help.
You held your own.
He put me in the room. Yeah, I didn't need no help. I didn't need that at all.
Right.
I'm you gave me the opportunity. The opportunity is for me to sink or swim.
Yes.
You put me there, and there's no other circumstance where I would be there. So
now wait, tell us how much prep did you do?
Because on Monday
you were ready. You knew your shit. Were you reading?
Yes.
Did you have note
told
cards?
Me that Monday, and that it would be on Wednesday. No, I didn't have anything on me. He told me that on Monday that it would be for Wednesday. So it's Monday I find that out 2 days ahead of time. And my mother was like, don't do that. It's a setup. I don't like Charlamagne. It's a setup. They're all setting you up, Charlamagne and Eric Adams. Like, my mother, listen, if y'all know the way my mommy was do not do it. It's going to be the worst thing. Don't do it. And I was like my mother had my anxiety, like my mommy was like literally when I tell you prophesizing the worst, and then the minute it goes well, she's like, oh yeah, we know it's gonna go good.
Hilarious.
That's a mom. That's
Hilarious.
a mom for you.
Listen here, lady. Like I swear to God, my mother literally said to me, "Oh, Olurinatti, I just wish you was the type of child who would listen to their mother when their mother tries to warn." That's what she said. And then when it goes well, oh, we know it's gonna go good. We
Taking the credit. Right.
I'm
right.
like, listen here, lady. All right. So I find it out Monday, and I genuinely at that point was someone who knew everything Eric Adams was doing in New York City, especially as it pertained to anything criminal system, Black people related. Like that is why I can't stand him. Like I think, first of all, I should say this. For me, the thing about Eric Adams has never been a personal thing. It's always been, like I said, I try to figure out what are the means, the modes you can use to educate people about something. And people will not click on a video about Rikers and racism and systemic injustice for the everyday New Yorker if it's named that, but they will click on why everybody hates this person.
Right.
So I'm like, what I do is I look at the issues and the things that I care about and I want to advocate in places, and I look for how I can package that in a way that people care. And it's usually people do not like to critique power. They like to critique the face of power and to feel like they're calling out power. That's what it is. They don't want to talk about all of the system and yada, 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 and yada, 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 just by itself packaged and like that. They want to talk about who the fuck am I supposed to hate? Okay,
Right.
so you want me to hate this guy? Fuck him. Like, so that's what they're into. So that's really what it is. It's like, I don't like him because he's the mayor and he's doing all these horrible things. But as a part of the saying that I don't like him, I'm hating him, is a way to get you to learn about these issues, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
so that's the reason. So in and of itself, I'd already known everything Eric Adams was doing from before he even took office. Everything that you plan to do, criminal justice, Black people related, everyday New Yorkers, poor people, I know. So I already knew. I'd already made a giant video essay on Eric Adams, the first one, why everybody hates Eric Adams at that point. So I was just like, all right, we're going to go just, refresh everything,
Right.
make sure we know when we're over those 2 days and cool. But again, you never know. I didn't know how it was going to go. So then that morning, and I also still was like thinking, ain't no way, like this isn't gonna happen. So the morning of, I'm at the Breakfast Club and like half thinking like, I hope we don't show up. I don't get my anxiety and my stress. I ain't got time for this, right? Like, and then Charlemagne comes and he's like, okay, the mayor's gonna be here at this time or whatever. He's like, you're doing the interview. Like that's when I found out. Like I knew I was gonna be in the room with Eric Adams, but I didn't know I was gonna be like doing anything. So I found out 2 days like earlier. Oh, I'm gonna do it with him, and I found out that morning sitting there like, oh, you're gonna do the interview. He was like, don't hold back, and that's another thing, another credit that I give like to Charlemagne, like the things that people don't see and how the thing comes to be is like put me there and gave me full reign to like do your thing, do whatever, and then
I mean, it made for a great compelling moment because like Delon said, you gave voice to a lot of the things that we had been feeling, and it was so nice to see you do it in such a well-researched but also calm. Unfortunately, we know that respectability politics are real.
Oh yeah,
you could have cursed his ass out,
but it's not effective.
It's not
effective at all. ILC, like I've seen since, like I feel like after that point it got very, very, very popular to be on Eric Adams' ass, right? Which should be. Like I'm not a goofy person. Like, oh, only me. What's supposed to say? No, I'm glad. Let's all hate him. Like, so I love the rise of let's kick his fucking back in. And you'd see a lot of like protest, like advocates and activists, especially like white ones, like posting videos where they see him and they're like, oh fuck you and blah blah blah, and like that's all cool and that's all cathartic, but that doesn't do anything especially as far as like if you're a Black person who will win no one over. You know what I mean? Like no one will over to your cause, especially the people that most support him. Eric Adams, and I said this like in the interview, said it then, it's like the problem with Eric Adams is it was never that. People be like, oh, how did he win? He never presented this person, who he is and what he got, the support of Black people, the major Black support that he had in New York City was not built on him showing them this pro-cop. That was not what he was doing. He showed them, oh, I'm this Black man that became a cop to fight systemic injustice from the inside. He was giving them an entirely different thing. And if you notice, that was what I was calling about in the interview. It was like, what he was prepared to give Charlemagne and them was the opposite of everything. That's what I was saying. Like, oh, that's very different than what you say on crime. It's very different than what you say on this. It's very different. Once people could actually see what he was, once Black people were aware, like, oh, you brought back stop and frisk? Oh, you you bringing back
Olayemi.
disbanded units. It was just a matter of people didn't know. It was never that people or Black people bought into who he was. It was that they didn't know. It was never being presented to them, and it was never an opportunity. Like, who was gonna be the person, like, in these traditional and mainstream, like, where was it going to be brought to the main like that? So what Charlamagne did was he literally said it was coming, and then he said, okay, Erica, he put me in the room, like, first, I go sit in the room, and, like, everybody go, like, be seated, like, before he got there, and he was like, point the cameras to the door and have them already rolling. So, like, when he comes in, so, like, he had no choice.
Can't walk out.
He produced it.
If he saw me and decided to leave, like, it was on camera. And so his ego couldn't take it, which is why, if you notice, that interview starts with him pivoting his chair to Charlamagne and starting to give Charlamagne that little speech about, like, oh, it's kid and people, you know, hating on you. That was him trying to, like, reach out to the person who was organized all of this and invited me here. Like, it's funny how, like, misogyny works. Like, you want to reach out to this man as your ally.
Right.
He did that multiple times. Multiple times he tried to talk over you and give you the back. Something that I want to pull a thread, because this is something Delon always says that I really appreciated, is you talked about taking a big issue and boiling it down so people can understand it. Class, take notes, because this is a great way to approach making content. And I want to just continue that to say, you've got 7 YouTube channels. You've got 500,000 followers combined, billions of views. You are putting out not random content. These are like fully produced deep dives, roundtable segments, multiple guests, multiple times a week. Given all that you've accomplished over like a very short YouTube career, you know, like you've done a lot in a short amount of time. What advice would you, what did a Webby nominee, I mean, like, this is a big deal. Viral hits all the time. What advice would you give to aspiring creators who are looking to find their voice and find their footing online based on some of the things that you've learned along the way?
Oh, I have lots of thoughts. This is all I love creator questions. No one ever asks me creator stuff because people don't see me as a creator first. It's funny. I think, like, especially even like looking at all my channels and stuff, so much I've noticed, like, when people talk about things, they assume there's like somebody else behind it, like a team or somebody else doing something. And I'm like, I brand build every one of these motherfuckers with me and Aaron. Like, I'm like, everything you see in the video, I put in the script to put it there to do this, the music, all of the things. So I'll say, like, I have lots of different, like, pieces of advice. I think the first thing, I think different things matter at different stages of your creator career, and I think that's probably important because when I first started, coming up through Twitter and like building your platform, I think at that point, like, visibility was very important, like to try and propel it. Cause at that time I was more so like, how do I propel this into, you know what I mean, into a platform, or thinking maybe someone will give you a show or XYZ. And a lot of that was like visibility, because you don't truly have a platform. Like, when you're on Twitter, like, you're not a creator or someone yet. Like, you might think you're doing something, whatever platform, but like, you're not. Like, you're a thought leader and you are like doing something and actively building a platform. You have a platform, but that's not the same thing or whatever as being a creator, different things. But in that time, it's like, okay, I'm appearing on other people's shows. Like, that's my only way. I don't create content. I'm appearing on other people's media. So that kind of requires me to like be really intentional about clipping this up and making this spread and go everywhere and being really, viral. And like, those viral moments kind of propel me to a place where I can go create my own thing. At this point in time in my creative career, what I think is really important right now, to me, and the advice that I would give a lot of creators, and that I don't see anybody say, is there's a big difference between visibility and like actual audience and reach. And like, I think there's a big difference. And people the internet thinks that because so much people think relevance is about who they see on their timeline a lot. They think like hyper visibility. Like, I saw, for example, somebody the other day said, I saw on TikTok, I opened TikTok. Whenever I open like TikTok, I'm always like so surprised at these popular like bad takes. But it was a video that was like, oh, you know who really got canceled? And it was like, oh, those shits and gigs guys, I never see them on my timeline anymore. And it was tens of thousands of likes on this. And it's like, you would like to think that people have this idea that relevant.
They are still here.
Huge. Like, and huge. I'm like, they get hundreds of thousands of views every single podcast week. I'm like, you don't know what it is to tap into that kind of consistent what those numbers are. And like, you do not get how big those people's actual infrastructure is and like the money or whatever that's being made. But people think relevance is who they see on their timeline. And that's really just about hyper visibility. And so what happens is so many creators end up chasing the public's perception of success. And so
Yes.
I know, like, I know a lot of people like sitting on Twitter. Like, I remember I saw somebody post a tweet like maybe last year or a year before that was like, oh, she really fell off talking about me. And I'm like, in the most successful year of my career, but that's because they view hyper visibility. You think I was more successful when I was broke in my basement, but you saw me on your timeline all day, every day, or whatever, making that happen. And I think that's important. It can be hard sometimes to quiet the noise of chasing visibility. A lot of creators that are very, very, very hyper visible do not have an
broke.
Bro,
because it's the opposite too. Visibility does not always equal wealth. And that confuses people when somebody who they see everywhere suddenly comes out and says, guys, I'm struggling, donate to my GoFundMe, I need a job. And it's like, you have millions of followers and you have all these things. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean that it's
a lot of that
bills.
ain't paying. And all these apps and followings are not made equal. That's another thing. They like the following of a YouTube following and a TikTok following are very different. And Instagram following, Twitter following, these things are all very different. And so I think something I take pride in, or that I think is important, is I focus on infrastructure building. Like, people like to have, I notice, like, ego sometimes can make you want to have one big thing. Like, oh, I want one huge channel, and I make you feel
diversify.
It's putting you at a disadvantage, because now, like, all your different content is cannibalizing each other. You can only do one thing. You can only put out so many videos on one channel without it killing the algorithm. Like, it doesn't matter if you made 1 million. All the content that I have across my Olurinattiverse, I could not put it out on one channel. If I did that, it would all tank. I'd make no money. It would all be a fucking disaster. And so I've traded in, like, to me, there was a time where, like, hyper visibility and being on the timeline and XYZ and all these different things is, like, what was the focus. And to me, my focus has shifted to infrastructure. Like, it made me so much more stable to have all these different, these channels and these brands that are cohesive, that allow me to do all these different things and create my work catalog like that. And that's what I think my advice to creators would be, to prioritize infrastructure, like, to be willing to not see starting a new thing as oh, I'm starting from zero. Like, don't let your ego have you tanking, you know what I mean? Just putting everything into one thing. Like, I look at starting a new thing as an opportunity, like, oh, new world, a brand to demonstrate. Like, I feel like when I look at my Olurinattiverse and what I intend for it to go and how much bigger I intend for it to be, is I intend for it to demonstrate proof of concept. Like, this is not an accident. I can do it repeatedly. You know what I mean? I know what I am doing. This is something that I can, I've demonstrated that. So that's my advice.
That is...
Do you feel like in your Olurinattiverse?
See, that's how the rumors get started.
My mother was also against naming it Olurinatti, just so we know.
we're trying to create connections, but, like, do you feel like you chase content, right? Meaning, like, what is hot on the internet right now? Because, again, you have such a strong voice and such and your advocacy, your social justice work is so prominent that I don't feel like you have to. But do you feel like on your channels you have to do that at all?
No. I think there's certain kinds of content that require that. I think, like, Olurinatti Bites is more of a channel inherently people look at commentary, like commentary about anything that's currently happening. They see it as something that, like, needs to, move fast. But I think I don't, honestly. Like, me and Olurinatti are big video essays on whatever the hell I'm thinking about. They're completely out or whatever. They are in no way anchored in whatever is the social discussion. Olurinatti Pop is also, like, I'm talking about whatever TVs and video, like, movies and shows and stuff that I care about. Usually not something that's airing now that anyone's talking about now. Olay and Chill is literally fun jokes to whatever internet drama. Like, you're here for the jokes, whatever it is that I package. Olurinatti Extras is talking about music. Olurinatti Politics is, and I think also, like, with politics, have, like, built up that, like, I guess, authority in some spaces that people will let me, when I come talk about whatever it is, like, make my State of the Union address on Olurinatti Politics, they will listen. So no, because I think I don't want to be, I think, like, for me, I don't want to be, reaction. I feel like what I'm trying to demonstrate, like, when my content is, like, authorship, like, I want it to feel like you look at it and you can tell everything is intentional. And I think that's a lot of why, like, my content, like, performs well across different channels, is because I think audiences trust that, if Lemme made a video, I don't throw anything out. Every single one of my videos, I make every single video, like, this matters right now. We're locked into this video, this script, this da-da-da-da-da. Like, everything is very I am very intentional about all of the things that I make. They're all like a big deal. The thumbnail, the this, the da-da-da, the background, like, and I think that shows, and I want it to feel, I want you to feel like, as a person, like, audience, the average person in the audience doesn't notice, doesn't clock, doesn't like take note of all the different things that makes them like a thing. But I want for other creators, like, oh, when you and Francesco see it, you know,
yes.
like, oh,
yes,
oh, that bitch did a bunch of things. Like, this is
7 YouTube channels. Come on now.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, it really shows, and that's a big part of, you know, again, I'm biased because you're my friend, and I've watched the journey, and I've seen the work that you've put into your content. It's so inspiring, and we talk about this a lot on the show, so that's why we wanted to have you here. And this is a perfect transition to say, we love hearing your perspective. And so something that we do here on the show is we talk about what's going on in the world. And we knew that we had to get your take on this news about the Target boycott ending, despite there not being any rollbacks on DEI. So class, if you have not heard about this or you've been living under a rock, in early 2025, there was a call for a boycott as Target rolled back the DEI initiatives because of the Trump presidency. We saw a lot of companies doing this, and the response was to start a boycott. And they had significant financial impacts. There were reports that they lost like $12.4 billion and market shares dropping. And then this week, USA Today drops this exclusive saying that the boycott is over. And it was announced by, let me make sure I'm getting his name correctly. Jamal Bryant, Pastor Jamal Bryant, did this statement. Jalon, did you see this?
I don't even know who this man is. I don't know this man. I feel sorry for this man. I did think it was shocking that there's one voice that was going to say the move, all of it's over, the boycott's over, when it was like there were a lot of voices. It was a collective movement, right? So how does this man just like?
Okay,
yeah.
So let me tell you all what I know. So Jamal Bryant is a popular popular Black pastor who is based in Atlanta, who also used to be married to Giselle from The Real Housewives. Yes,
okay.
Yes, good tea. This is Dennis, by the way. He's new here.
Oh, he's so sweet.
What a cutie.
Welcome, Dennis.
So I remember this because I did an Olay and Friends like around when they first announced the boycott, and we were talking about Jamal Bryant being the one like saying let's do this boycott, because I remember Deshaun had made like a joke like, I thought we had all agreed to stop listening to Jamal Bryant. I can't believe like this is what's
never
happening.
heard of him before.
Ever.
Y'all said, who is this man?
I don't know this man. Where's Keke Palmer at? Come on.
So he did. So what happened was, I think at the same time that Target did the DEI rollbacks, and Jamal Bryant, who has a massive congregation, right?
Okay.
He's one of those big mega churches, I believe, in Atlanta. And so he told them, he told his church, his congregation, we were going to start boycotting Target. So in the same time that like Black people just in general were also online in different groups saying like, we're going to boycott Target, Jamal Bryant was telling his big church like, oh, we're going to boycott Target. And so then his clips and it fuses into this idea that like Jamal
that it
Bryant
was him
leading everybody. It's like, but Jamal Bryant was leading his church's Target boycott, and everybody else was also boycotting Target at the same time. So then it's like, now he's saying to his congregation, oh, we are done with our boycott because we're satisfied for some reason.
Well, because they have a something called a belonging now. Instead of DEI, it's called belonging, with no bullet points, with no specifications on what that means.
Yeah. I mean, the quote from Jamal Bryant is very wishy-washy, because he says, well, the program's called Belonging, which gives access to everybody, not just for entry-level positions. It's essentially DEI as I read it. It's the exact same thing. Essentially and exact are not the same. And those are not interchangeable.
Right.
I'm curious, Olay, do you think that he was intentionally propped up by Target, because he held a press conference, he's doing these exclusive interviews, and there's a lot of questions around, one, the fact that Target has not actually announced a new DEI initiative, but also what does he get out of announcing on behalf of Black folks that the boycott is over?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of moving parts there, because I think here's the thing, and I don't know Jamal Bryant. I don't have any any strong feelings about him one way or the next. So I'm not even like trying to disparage him or anything. I think logically speaking, they had to have had a conversation with you. Like for you to get up and decide, okay, now we're good, we feel satisfied without Target making any statement or whatever it is. Like, you had to have been approached and had some conversation. So I would like to know, and I think other people would be curious to know, and you probably do have some obligation to share with the details of whatever conversation, or if there was a conversation that took place between you and Target, or some Target representative that led to why you're now saying this. Because I'll say this, I remember there were always people who were saying from the beginning that, okay, Target was getting rid of like explicitly DEI, but they have other things and X, Y, Z. And so to me, if you weren't open to that argument then at the beginning, when there were people saying from the beginning, hey, they're not doing under DEI because that creates too much complication with Trump and or whatever, but they're still doing this and the next thing. If it wasn't satisfactory then that we're going to launch into our whole congregation,
why
like
now?
We're going to do this boycott for all this time, why now are you okay with it? If it was like, it's not that I am inherently against the idea that you can find it satisfactory. Like, okay, it's easier to get. What matters is the final result, and if this thing will accomplish it and it's under a different name, that's fine. It just makes you raise the eyebrow a little bit and say,
like, what happened?
When, why, and how?
Yeah. Well, what was the collective conversation again? Because the other part of this story is that a bunch of people in Minneapolis went in front of like the Target headquarters and was like, no, we're not done. It's not over, right? So like now we have competing voices.
Yeah.
Is anybody going back to Target on the call?
I'm not. I'm not going back to Target. I mean, I think to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, Olay, there was a lot of conversation about like, well, you can't just put it on Target. Y'all are still shopping at this place and y'all are still doing this. Sure. And I really think everybody has to pick what their line is. And yeah, in reality, it's hard to say, I'm not going to shop at any grocery store. I'm not going to shop. Like, then where will you shop? Right? Like, so I think everybody has to pick and choose and be really aware of like where their dollars are going and who's being supported by what actions. And for me, I haven't missed Target. I haven't missed it enough. And this gives me an uneasy feeling. I'm not satisfied that they're actually doing anything to remedy the situation that they entirely caused themselves. So I won't be going back. Olay, will you be going back?
Target isn't even like a shop in my what do you call it? Like my repertoire. Like, you know what I mean? Like I never, and that's the thing too. Like I tend to. Sometimes people jump up to go say they're not doing something they was never doing. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, who am I to go take Target out your hands when it was never in mine? You know what I mean? Like whatever.
Yeah.
Like I think it's important to like. There are lots of different movements. There are people who engage in different kinds of like boycotting their entire life as a practice, as these different things. They don't do X, Y, Z. I think it's on every individual to like choose which your political activism and advocacy is going to be. And I don't think you're obligated to participate in each and everything you decide and why and what your values are. But what I think happens, but I think once you are doing something, once you're a Jamal Bryant and you're going to decide and you're all the people who have decided like, hey, we have this problem with Target. I don't think this is not satisfactory to people who have been, it's not satisfactory or enough to get all those people who've decided for the last year or however long it's been now. I feel like it's been a year. We're not shopping at Target. Like it's been material loss. You have to understand too, like a lot of those people, if they haven't been shopping for boycotting Target for all this time, they've also replaced it with something. So it's not like they've been itching this whole time, whatever, to get to Target, like they're going to be running to get back. So the idea that Target wouldn't have to do more to get those people back is wrong. Like you're going in order, you would have to incentivize them in some way. Yes. And so it's not sufficient to even just do the DEI. Like there has to be some acknowledgement of what has happened, like what the movement has been and all these different things. So I think,
and that they heard us.
Of how you feel, exactly. I'm like, so for me, it's not even about like how I feel about the Target boycott or not, or whether or not I'm into it. But as far as whoever is, you're involved in this, I know it's not satisfactory how Jamal Bryant has handled it and or if he should be handling it at all, as though he is this. You know what I mean? So
yes.
That's my thoughts.
I will say this though, the collective action of it all is so inspiring. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I think we often say in our own silos and you feel like helpless, especially everything that's happening in the world right now. We feel helpless. Like, what do you do? This worked. This one thing worked, and it's still working, right? So I think we talk about this on the pod a lot. Rest in that. Rest in collective action. Rest in collective community and voices, right? Yes. Man, I am so glad that we had you. I could talk to you all dang day and listen to you all dang day. Thank you for being here, sincerely.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Juan, I did prepare a game if Olay has time to play a game. You can play a game. Yes. Okay, all right. So let me tease the game. So Olay, we love to play games here on the pod. And in honor of having you on the show, I thought we would play a special rendition of Name That White Woman, Crime and Punishment edition. I'm going to show you a different white woman that has played a lawyer or a criminal professional in film and television, and we're going to ask you to identify who the person is. Delon, you can also help. I will tell you, Delon's not a great help.
I feel like generally I'd be knowing, like, if this was just like white people, like actors and actresses, I'd know for a fact I'm going to eat this up. But specifically propaganda playing white women,
Okay, so like we're going to start easy.
Okay.
So you need to tell us you can say who the actor is and who the character is. You'll get extra points, but one or both.
I have never seen this white woman in my life. I have never seen. You don't know
who
this white lady in my life.
You're dragging me, but I know. Okay.
Delon knows who this is.
She's not Harriet the Spy.
This is Callista
Flockhart, Ally McBeal.
You don't know Ally McBeal?
I don't know nothing about Ally McBeal.
Okay,
I've heard that term. Like I've heard Ally McBeal, but
it was illegal. It was illegal.
From the 90s, from like
what I was like, who?
Yeah, 90s. Okay, all right. Next up,
this is my girl. Hold on, no, I know this. I watched Murder She Wrote with my Grammy. Hold on, Elizabeth. What's she name? What's her actual name? Is it Elizabeth Flansbury? Some.
Oh yes, something.
Yes, close. You're close.
Oh, her name Angela Lansbury.
Angela Lansbury. Oh, some. Okay,
yes.
I'm like, I know her. I know her. Me and my grandma used to watch this.
Jessica.
What is the character name
this
though?
Laura created, but she's Shirley Temple's mom in my brain.
I might have.
Jessica Fletcher.
Okay.
No, you're good. We got you.
That's what I was right there, like up there.
Yes.
All right.
Angela
next
Lansbury.
Up, from Law and Order.
This Stabler gal. This is Stabler's gal, Benson, and her real name, Olivia Benson, is the gal name, and her real name is it Marissa Haas?
Yes.
Something like that.
Mariska Hargitay.
There we go.
Mariska Hargitay. Great job. Okay. What's on?
Crazy point about Mariska Hargitay. This is the only show she's ever been on. She's been on the show for 7,000 years.
She's a Nepo baby. Her mom was,
and I know she got to the motherfucking bag.
Yes,
as she
and
should.
then some.
One role is crazy. I'd never be able to sleep at night. I wouldn't be able to be like that. I couldn't be comfortable.
How did she turn it off?
That'd give me so much motherfucking anxiety. Just this one role.
I'm telling you about
my
it.
chest. I wouldn't be able to breathe.
All right, next up.
Ooh, her face.
Beautiful white
Olay's
lady.
face.
You don't know who this is?
I don't know who this is either, friend.
I've never seen this white woman.
I know the show.
Life.
What's the show, Delon?
The X-Files.
The X-Files. This is Gillian Anderson as Dana Scully. You never watched X-Files?
I'm really impressed, but like when I tell you, I clearly, but truly don't watch. I don't get to the propaganda. My little sister Femi was here. Oh, this is my girl, Julia Roberts as Erin Brockovich.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Great job.
Yeah.
All right. Who's this?
Reese Witherspoon as Elle Woods in Legally Blonde.
Yes.
Omarosa in what she was on Apprentice. Omarosa.
She was actually Trump's assistant.
I did know that foolishness
in the first White House.
Where's she at nowadays? Next to Candace Owens somewhere.
She got fired.
Stacey Dash.
Right.
She got fired and said, guys, Trump is saying the N-word. Yeah, girl, we knew. No one is surprised.
And you were sitting right by him.
I'm coming with Tans, like when people, did you all see with Love? Did you watch the season of Love Is Blind?
No,
not yet.
Yeah, and you know what? You ain't missing nothing. But there's a mixed black guy on there who's like anti-black. He don't know he black. He's like, oh my god, people of color, women of color, right? And it was funny. We all like everybody black immediately clocked what he was and all of that. So here goes some white girl he used to date in real life because he dumped her. Like she didn't even have no story. Like wasn't even just she didn't like him. I mean, he didn't like her no more. He didn't want to be with her, and she was really hurt. And so she's like, oh, and also he didn't like black women. He admitted to me that he didn't like Britney because she was black. Bitch, why are you telling us you didn't care? You telling me you was trying. You didn't care. So why are you with that now? Because I already know that. I don't need you to tell me.
That should have been a disqualifier.
Thank you.
Right, you didn't give a fuck. So
now it's fodder. Get out of my face.
That's why he was cool telling you.
Right.
That's exactly what Omarosa did.
Yes. Man, I am so glad that we had you. I could talk to you all dang day and listen to you all dang day. Thank you for being here, sincerely.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Oh my God.
Truly.
You are such a fantastic guest. Please let our audience know where they can find you on the internet.
Okay, you can find me if you want to follow me on social media like Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok at Olurinatti. On YouTube, you can subscribe to the entire Olurinattiverse. My main flagship channel is Olurinatti, where I do all my big magnum opuses. Olurinatti Pop is my favorite and my fun channel where we do video essays on TVs and movie shows. Olay and Chill is my fun. We're talking mess and TikTok and internet drama on that channel. Yes, Olurinatti Politics is for my serious political deep dives and State of the Unions. Olurinatti Extras is where I do music commentary, and Olay and Friends is where you can follow for all my conversations with great, amazing Black thinkers and funny people like Francesco, who's been there, and Delon, who should be.
Listen.
Yes.
Tell me when.
We'd love to get Delon on there. We will link all of Olay's 7 YouTube channels in the description box so you can check her out. Thanks again for being on the show.
Love you. Bye.
Love you too. Stay beautiful.
Wow.
Man, another great guest, man. I just love Blakely Thornton, and Olay. Like they are just they're on it. They're so quick. I said this about Blakely as well. So smart. And also I just love people, yourself included, that are voices of our time that don't need to be propped up by anyone but themselves. The internet is a great democratizer. We've said it before. And I'm so glad that we have access to them, right? Because and they're not politicians. They're not beholden to anything else. They are just themselves, speaking the word, talking about culture, but talking about politics, social justice, all of it. She's beautiful.
Yeah, I feel like that really fits the Let Me Fix It ethos where we're having people on the show who've created their own platform, but they have something to say and they're really smart. And I'm just so heartened every time we reach out to people and they're like, yes, oh my God. So class, tell us in the comments if there are other people that you think we should have on the show, because so far you've given us some really great suggestions and we're just so thankful that they were open to visiting and hanging out with us.
Yes, and please keep sending us these crazy comments because we some of them are great clapbacks. Some of them are keeping us gathered. Let's hop over to comments from the class, a segment that we both love. So
do you want to go first?
Yeah, I've one from KY Cupcakes, which is a great name. This is on our Timothy Chalamet episode, which was last week. They say, for me, ballet and opera always felt like something you could only do if you had money in terms of studying it. It feels somewhat exclusive. I don't know. But don't get it twisted. I would love to go to the ballet or opera. I took dance lessons as a kid, but I had to stop because money had to go to tutoring instead. I picked this one out because I have a very similar experience, of wanting to do or take artistic classes and finding it pretty late, but just not having the finances and money, right? Yeah. And I brought this up too because I have a colleague in the theater that works at the Boston Ballet. And the Boston Ballet has this really cool feeder program where they go to third grade classes and they just give a ballet class, right?
Oh, wow.
And they tend to be lower income schools or lower income classes. And if people have an affinity for it, they bring them to the Boston Ballet and give them free classes.
Wow.
There are multiple people currently who are ballet company members, full-time paid ballet company members who are part of that feeder program. So I say that to say it's important that we do that kind of reaching down and bringing people up and supporting the art. But I also think that we need to continue to talk about it because I also say it's never too late. You can start taking classes today. You know what I mean? You know me, the class friend. I love a class. I love a class. So KY Cupcakes, I would just encourage you to not only continue to talk about programs like this and find them and share them with other people, but take a class in your neighborhood, right? That's available.
Take an adult ballet class, and also check out YouTube University. There are so many people doing free classes online. It is never too late. And look, this is a silver lining of Timothée Chalamet putting his foot in his mouth. It's starting more necessary conversations about the arts and how we give back and get involved. So thank you for leaving us that comment. I wanted to highlight this comment from Tortilla Reform, which is a very funny name. It says, in reference to your question about third spaces and connecting with new people, I think finding ways to volunteer in your community absolutely help. Before complications with my knee, I was helping in a mutual aid group in Brooklyn, giving out free diapers and sanitary wipes every Monday. You meet great people and get to do something for people who need it. Also, there is a free collective of people who teach anyone who asks you how to fix your bike and do repairs to break the barrier a lot of us have with the technical aspect of fixing something we love. Perfect for the let me fix it ethos, but also to not get frustrated with repairing when needed. It helps to live in a large city to find these spaces, but as time progresses, options multiply. I love this suggestion to get involved with some sort of community work, because chances are, one, you're going to feel great helping people, but you're going to get to meet other good people. Like if you're taking time out of your day to do something selflessly, in my book, you are already like a cut above the rest. And those are the people that I want to build friendships with, and maybe even a love connection, you know?
Listen, I was, this is kind of a jump, but you know that show Love on the Spectrum on Netflix? I love this show. And one of them, the people on it went to a speed dating thing. And I was like, and I know this exists. You might have done this, but
I've done it.
Speed friendships, right? Like, why not, if you're looking for an opportunity to connect outside of your day-to-day of work friends, like why not only do this kind of activity, but like find a way to, is it like speed friendships? I know what was that Bumble thing? Bumble had like a friendship connector.
Yeah, Bumble had Bumble BFF. So
Bumble
very
BFF.
similarly, it was like it's the dating app is Bumble, but then they had like a branch of it that was just for platonic friendships. I'm all for it. I mean, I think something that you and I talk about a lot is just as you get older, it is harder to make friends because especially now with so much of us working remotely, it's like you're not even getting to really hang out with your coworkers. And when we were in school, you just had ample opportunities to meet people. Now it's like I am on this couch working. I
don't want to leave my house.
I go 3 or 4 places regularly, and if somebody starts talking to me, I'm like, why are you talking to me? I don't.
What do you want?
What do you want? So actually kind of, again, exploring these potential third spaces. I do love the pitch of speed dating. And look, sometimes you go to a dating thing and you do meet someone that just becomes a friend. It's not unheard of, but again, like you have to put yourself out there, and you just have to be willing to try. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, the Glow Up, where we give props to those that have turned themselves around without our help. Delon, is it okay if I go first?
Sure, hop in.
My glow up goes to MSG. Do you know what MSG is, Delon?
Not proper, but I know it's in a lot of Asian food. And there was a push like 10, 20 years ago to like when you order Chinese food, no MSG.
No MSG. No MSG. So here's what's really interesting. And this is kind of related to, you brought this up a few episodes ago about why are there so many Asian businesses in Black neighborhoods. This has a very interesting history because this whole demonization of MSG was just like purely racism. It was started by this guy who like ate some Chinese food one time, and then he wrote an article about this Chinese restaurant syndrome. And MSG, which is just like an additive, it stands for monosodium glutamate. And it is often used in Asian cuisines. And it really came from this myth that was propagated by this guy who worked for a New England Journal of Medicine. And he claimed that the Chinese restaurant syndrome gave him headaches and numbness. And it really pushed a lot of Asian restaurants to say, we don't use it. Please come here. It's not bad. Here's the thing, Delon. MSG is incredible if you add it to your food. I have started adding it to my vegetables, and my fish. Let me tell you, I'm slurping it down. It enhances the flavor.
You're whatting it down? Wait, no. What was the health risk that they were saying? Do you know what that was? Like, what was the issue?
It was completely made up. There was no study done. It was one man ate at a Chinese food restaurant and then wrote this article, and it became kind of like the latest moral panic. You know, like when there's
was it like a sodium thing? It's bad for your heart. It's weight gaining.
It's lower sodium than salt.
Wow.
And he said that it was giving him headaches and numbness. And that combined with an already, prolific anti-Asian racism, it was just an easy way to be like, oh, look, these Asian people have their own restaurants. Don't go there. There's a mysterious virus that you're going to get that's going to make you sick. And
this man he sounds like he had a weak constitution. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, just because you have low iron is not our fault, So I don't even remember. I think I saw an article about this, and I'll link it in the description. I saw this article from the BBC, but then I think I heard something about it on NPR. And I was like, you know what? I want to try this for myself. So I went and bought this MSG flavoring. It's called Accent. I am telling you, Delon, because I'm trying to like eat healthier and whatever. Yeah. It's incredible. You can put it on the most basic food and it makes it taste so freaking good. I cannot tell you. It like makes the food taste more like vibrant. I can't describe it.
The class will know. Class, if you know what MSG does to food on like a biological, scientific level, let us know because we're out here. I don't know, why am I salivating?
It's
I'm
really good.
Salivating from you even talking about it.
It's really good.
If you know what happens on a scientific level, class, please let us know so we can continue to explore it for all of the class.
Yeah, on the actual seasoning, it says wakes up food flavor is like the branding on it. And I don't know what it does. And thankfully, again, it's not high in sodium. So if that's something you're worried about, class, I highly recommend it, especially if you're trying to eat more vegetables, for example, and you're just looking for something that's like low sodium, that's very tasty. I'm going to say, check out that MSG.
All right, listen, I'm about it. I do eat a lot of vegetables and chicken, so I'm gonna get some next time when I go to the grocery.
And some fish.
It gets boring.
Put it on some fish.
Fish. This woman is some fish. Listen, I eat fish. I just eat it at like a restaurant. I'm not like bringing it in my house to stink up my house.
What about? Did you ever make that tuna? Did you ever make that tuna salad that I told you to make?
You would set me up like that? You would set me up like that because you know I ain't make that fucking tuna salad. Get out of here.
Okay, well, you know what? Class, guess what? Delon is coming to Los Angeles next week, and guess what I'm about to do? I'm about to throw down in this air fryer, and I'm going to show you what's what.
Okay. I believe. Listen, I'm a believer and I'm an eater. So let's go. I'll even buy the fish for you. Okay.
Okay. What's your glow up?
Fran, did you know that Gen Z are sometimes called Zoomers? Did you know that? It's kind of like be akin to Boomer.
Yeah, I think I did know that, but I don't hear people saying it.
Yeah, I've never heard this either. So, class, there's the baby boomers, there's Gen X, there's millennials, which Fran and I are elder millennials technically, and then there's Gen Z. So, this account I saw on TikTok called Matter Neuroscience did this really cool experiment where they took an old phone booth. Class, if you are a Gen Zer, you've probably never seen one of these. But like before cell phones, we actually had to walk outside and put money inside of a payphone. But they took this like old payphone and they set it up at Boston University. They like reconfigured it and like hooked it up to the phone line. And then they went to a retirement building and they took an old payphone and then put it there and they connected the two. And on the one at Boston University, it said, call a boomer. And then on the one at the old folks home, it said, call a Zoomer. And so because I guess statistically, Gen Z and baby boomers are the loneliest on like the spectrum of lonely.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? And Gen Z college students tend to be very lonely, as do boomers. So they like did this really cool experiment where they were trying to get these people to talk together randomly, like for short conversations, for short stints. And I just thought it was really cool glow up for the payphone, right? Something that you and I very much remember. But also for like empathy and care, you know what I mean? We talk about the loneliness epidemic right now a lot, and this was a really cool solve for that. I just thought it was really good. Matter Neuroscience is where I saw it, class, if you're interested in looking it up.
That is so cute. We will link it in the description. I think it's also funny that like you shared this like really sweet, heartwarming anecdote, and then you said it's a glow up for the payphone. So, you know, bring back the payphone.
Yeah, why not? Well, the payphone is back in this instance anyway.
Yeah, I love that. Well,
All
class,
right.
that's going to wrap up this week's episode. And like I teased, Delon is coming to Los Angeles, and I am so excited. I cannot wait to see my friend. We're going to have something very special planned that week, so stay tuned. And let us know if there's a topic that you would like us to cover in a future episode, or you can send us a tagline to lemmefixitpod@gmail.com, and we might include yours right here in the show.
And remember, if you are new here, we have new episodes every Wednesday. Be sure to hit that notification bell so you know when they drop. But also, if you're new and you like the content, more guests to come, please subscribe. We are here every Wednesday, as I just said. I'm DeLong.
I'm Francesca, and this was Lemme.